Have you ever looked at a woman you genuinely liked, said all the right things, treated her well, gave her attention, and still felt invisible? Have you ever watched her lose interest, even though you were trying harder than any other man around her? If you have, then you know that feeling. The confusion, the frustration, the silent question that keeps repeating in your head. What am I doing wrong? Maybe you sent the texts first every time. Maybe you made yourself available whenever she needed you. Maybe you thought being nice would naturally create attraction, yet somehow she became distant. Her replies got shorter, her energy changed, and you were left wondering why. I'm here to tell you something important. This was never your fault. Nobody taught you this. I'm here, and this is the Stoic way, where we uncover the real psychology that creates desire. Most men are not failing because they lack value. They are failing because they reveal value in the wrong order. They focus on what they do. Women often respond to how they feel. That changes everything. And today, we're talking about 3 simple words that can transform the entire emotional dynamic between you and a woman. 3 words: simple, powerful, easy to misuse. And I'll warn you now, the final one is incredibly powerful. It can change everything fast, and almost no one uses it correctly. Before we get there, you need to understand something deeper. Attraction is not a logical checklist. It's emotional, subconscious, ancient. Evolutionary psychology shows us that human beings make rapid judgments based on signals, not speeches. The brain constantly scans for confidence, security, mystery, strength, emotional intelligence, and social value. Not consciously, automatically. These are mental shortcuts, deep patterns, invisible filters. A woman may not be able to explain why she feels attracted to one man and indifferent toward another, but her subconscious knows. And once you understand those hidden signals, you stop chasing, you stop performing, you stop begging for attention. Instead, you become the man women naturally want to move toward. Let's begin with the first trigger: masculine presence. Most men think attraction begins with appearance. It doesn't. Appearance gets attention. Presence keeps it. Masculine presence is grounded energy. It's the feeling that you're comfortable in your own skin. You're not rushing. You're not seeking approval. You're not trying to impress. Imagine you're talking to a woman. She tells a story. Most men immediately jump in, interrupt, prove, explain, and compete for attention. You don't. You listen. You stay calm. You smile slightly. You speak slowly. You make her feel your certainty. That's presence. The man who controls himself controls the room. Now here's where the first magic words appear. I understand you. 3 words: simple, powerful, rare. Not because women need agreement, because women crave understanding. Most people listen to reply. Few listen to understand. When a woman shares something meaningful and you genuinely understand her perspective, something changes emotionally. She feels seen. She feels safe. She feels connected. Notice the difference. Not, I agree with you. Not, you're right. Just, I understand you. Those words tell her that you're emotionally present, and presence is magnetic. See the person, not the performance. The second trigger is emotional challenge. Many men accidentally become predictable, too agreeable, too available, too easy, and attraction struggles inside certainty without polarity. A little challenge creates emotional movement, not disrespect, not games, just playful tension. Imagine she says, I'm always right. Instead of agreeing immediately, you grin and say, that's exactly what someone who's wrong would say. She laughs. Energy shifts. Connection grows. Why? because emotions create memories. Polarity creates spark. You become interesting because you aren't reacting the way everyone else does. The key is warmth, challenge without hostility, confidence without arrogance, strength without aggression. A man who can playfully disagree communicates abundance. He isn't afraid of losing approval, and that's attractive. Don't seek harmony every second. Create movement. The third trigger is selective attention. This one changes lives. Many men unknowingly communicate scarcity. They answer instantly, cancel plans, drop priorities, restructure their world around a woman's attention. It feels romantic. It often feels desperate. Selective attention means your life remains full. Purpose comes first. Growth comes first. Mission comes first. A woman becomes part of your life, not your entire life. Imagine she texts you. You respond when you're free, not 3 hours later as a strategy. Not immediately out of anxiety. Naturally, because you're busy building something meaningful. That energy communicates value. Your attention becomes valuable because it isn't unlimited. Scarcity creates significance. Neediness destroys it. If this is making sense so far, hit subscribe and join the Stoic Way community. It helps more men learn what they were never taught. Now let's go deeper. The fourth trigger is intentional listening. This is where most men completely miss the opportunity. Women often reveal emotional information through small details. A favorite childhood memory, a goal, a fear, a dream destination, a random story. Most men forget. You remember. Weeks later, she mentions feeling stressed. You say, "You told me you always feel better near the ocean. Maybe you need some beach time." Instant impact. Why? Because remembering details communicates emotional investment, not obsession, attention. Intentional listening tells her something powerful. You matter. You are not just hearing words. You are understanding meaning. And that leads us to the second magic phrase. Tell me more. 3 words. Simple, powerful, transformational. Most conversations die because people rush to speak. Strong men create space. When she shares something meaningful, don't immediately solve it. Don't redirect it. Don't make it about yourself. Say, "Tell me more." Now she feels invited. Now she feels understood. Now she feels emotionally safe. Those words create connection because they demonstrate curiosity instead of ego. Curiosity is attractive. People rarely remember who talked the most. They remember who made them feel important. Give her that experience. The fifth trigger is calibrated vulnerability. This one requires balance. Many men hide everything. Others reveal everything. Neither works. Strength isn't emotional suppression. Strength is emotional control. Calibrated vulnerability means sharing real experiences without seeking rescue, without self-pity, without victimhood. Imagine she asks about a difficult period in your life. You share honestly. You explain what happened. You explain what you learned. You explain how you grew. Now she sees depth, not weakness, depth. Women are often drawn to men who possess both strength and humanity. A stone wall feels cold. An open wound feels unstable. But controlled honesty feels real, and reality creates trust. Let her see the man behind the armor. Just don't hand her the armor. The sixth trigger is gradual physical touch. This must always be respectful, intentional, appropriate, never forced, never rushed. Human beings are wired for connection. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, plays a role in creating feelings of trust and closeness. A light touch on the shoulder during a laugh, a brief touch on the arm while making a point, a warm hug, simple things, natural things. The key is calibration. Read the situation. Respect boundaries. Move slowly. The goal is comfort, not pressure. Remember this: confidence never rushes. Desperation always does. When a woman feels safe around your presence, physical connection becomes an extension of emotional connection, not a substitute for it. That's the difference. And now we arrive at the final trigger, the one almost nobody understands: controlled unpredictability. Human beings are deeply influenced by dopamine. Dopamine isn't only released through rewards, it's often released through anticipation, the possibility of reward, the uncertainty of reward. This is why mystery matters. Not because you're hiding, because you're living. Most men become completely predictable. Same conversations, same routines, same responses. No surprises, no curiosity, no discovery. Controlled unpredictability means occasionally introducing positive uncertainty. Maybe you suggest an unexpected coffee spot. Maybe you disappear for a day because you're focused on your goals. Maybe you reveal a hidden passion she never expected. Maybe she learns something new about you every week. You remain consistent in character, but not repetitive in experience. That's important. Consistency builds trust. Variety builds excitement. You need both. And this is where the third magic phrase appears. Let's find out. 3 words, powerful words. When she asks where things might go, when she asks about an experience, when she wonders what happens next, sometimes the strongest answer isn't certainty, it's possibility. Let's find out. Those words create adventure. They create anticipation. They invite her into a journey instead of presenting a finished script. Life becomes shared discovery, not predetermined routine. And that's incredibly attractive, because attraction often grows in emotional movement, not emotional certainty. Think about it. I understand you. She feels seen. Tell me more. She feels valued. Let's find out. She feels excitement. 3 phrases, 3 emotional experiences: connection, importance, anticipation. That's the hidden formula. But there's another layer most men miss. These words only work when they reflect who you are, not a performance, not a trick, not a manipulation. A woman can sense incongruence surprisingly fast. If your words say confidence, but your behavior screams insecurity, the spell breaks immediately. The words matter. The energy matters more. That's why Stoicism is so powerful. True Stoicism isn't emotional numbness. It's emotional mastery. It means you don't chase validation. You don't panic when attraction isn't immediate. You don't abandon your values for attention. You remain grounded, centered, purpose-driven. You understand that your worth is not determined by one woman's response. And strangely enough, that mindset makes you more attractive, because confidence grows when self-worth comes from within, not from approval. Consider the men who naturally attract people. They're rarely trying the hardest. They're simply comfortable being themselves. They have direction, purpose, boundaries, presence. Women feel that. Everyone feels that. Energy communicates before words ever do. That's why you don't need 10 different lines. You don't need complicated tactics. You don't need endless dating strategies. You need alignment. When your actions, emotions, values, and communication all point in the same direction, attraction becomes effortless. Not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, but effortless. Because you're no longer forcing outcomes. You're expressing value. There's a huge difference. And maybe the most important thing you'll hear today is this: you do not need perfection. You need strategy. You do not need better looks. You need better signals. You do not need to become someone else. You need to reveal who you already are in a more effective way. Remember where we started: the frustration, the confusion, the feeling that you were doing everything right and still getting rejected. Now you can see the truth. It wasn't about effort, it was about sequence. You led with attention before attraction. You led with availability before value. You led with approval before presence. Nobody taught you differently until now. Now you understand the hidden signals. Now you understand the emotional triggers. Now you understand why some men seem naturally magnetic. It isn't luck. It isn't magic. It's awareness, masculine presence, emotional challenge, selective attention, intentional listening, calibrated vulnerability, gradual physical touch, controlled unpredictability, 7 triggers, 1 transformation. And beneath all of them is a simple principle. Make her feel understood. Make her feel seen. Make her feel something, not through manipulation, through authentic connection. These are real tools, not tricks. Use them with respect. Use them intentionally. Use them to create healthier relationships. Because attraction built on honesty lasts longer than attraction built on performance. The goal isn't to make every woman like you. The goal is to become the kind of man who naturally creates interest, respect, and desire. A man with purpose. A man with boundaries. A man with emotional intelligence. A man who understands human nature. A man who no longer chases because he has become worth chasing. And once that shift happens, everything changes. Your conversations change. Your confidence changes. Your relationships change. Most importantly, your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as the guy who gets overlooked. You stop seeing yourself as unlucky. You stop seeing yourself as broken, because you were never broken. You were simply untaught. Now you know better. And when a man knows better, he moves differently. He speaks differently. He carries himself differently. He attracts differently, quietly, naturally, powerfully. If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to the Stoic Way now. Turn on notifications, because the next one will shift your reality again.